So grateful to share with you this evening with the topic of giving birth to divine ideas. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "We must know that the doorway of opportunity is never closed. Man is always receptive to the divine ideas. It is never too late for him to manifest opportunity. It is never withheld from him for a single moment. There is no sense or limited or restricted opportunity." I can't believe that my daughter is turning 6 next month. On September 23rd, she'll be 6 years old, my darling little Nancy June. And I remember just before she was born, my wife said to me, "Josh, there'll come a day when you will never be able to remember a time where Nancy didn't exist." And I thought that was such a weird thing to say. But as I've continued to think about it, it really resonates with me. There was never a time that Nancy didn't exist. Now, I remember almost 37 years of my life without her presence in it, actively, physically, sure. But the principle of Nancy June, the divine idea of Nancy June, is something that I'd like to think always has been and always will be. I invite us to consider this when we think about giving birth to divine ideas in our lives. There is a divine idea for your life, a divine idea of abundance, a divine idea of meaning, a divine idea for love and connection, a divine idea for joy and play, a divine idea of your becoming. And even though you may have not given birth to it yet, it exists. And there will come a day when this divine idea is given birth to your life, and you will not be able to remember a time where it didn't exist. It's already there. And just like the beauty of bringing forth not just a baby, but a soul, a beingness, the principle of an individual into this life, we get to think of bringing forth these divine ideas just like we would a child. What does it mean for you to take a divine idea for richer living and to nurture it like you would imagine how your future child will be when she grows up? To imagine what a divine idea of love and connection, how it might show up for you. To nurture the seed of the divine idea, even though we all admit we have no idea how it's going to turn out or what it's going to look like, but we know it's there, damn it, and that's the most exciting thing in the world. I love what Jean Houston said, "Just as you would not neglect the seeds that you planted with hope that they will bear vegetables and fruits and flowers, so you must attend to nourish the garden of your becoming." So the first key, we might say, to giving birth to divine ideas is to realize they're already there. They're already planted in the soul of who we are. Our next step is to nurture them and then to create that space, that preparation, that willingness to bring them forward. I'll always, of course, remember the evening my daughter was born. My wife and I were watching Netflix on the couch at 10 p.m. It was this very interesting show called Maniac that was a little trippy. So we were a little tripped out, and then pop, like a balloon, my wife's water popped. And we knew it was time to go. We had the bags packed. The big thing was going to be getting our son, Gavin, who was 13 at the time, into the car. I think my gentle words were, "Get in the effing car!" And off we went on the 25-minute drive to Sky Ridge Hospital and Highlands Ranch. and my wife waited for a couple hours before she got brought into the delivery room, and then the intensive labor process really began. It's so fun to be a guy talking about this, by the way. I hope you have a good laugh. And I'll always remember, Josh, please telling me that everything is going to be okay and this will be over soon. Sweetheart, everything's okay and we'll be over soon. Please be quiet. Give me space. So that was my process there. And it was beautiful to be the first person to see Nancy's head emerge from her mother. And I do support us in looking at the creative process in our lives, the giving birth of divine ideas, like a man perceives the giving birth process of a woman. To recognize that, just like Ernest Holmes said about the creative process, we don't know how it works, but we know that it works. That's how I feel as a husband and a dad. I have no idea what the hell is going on here, and I don't know if I want to know. But something so beautiful and so precious is coming forth, and my job is to be prepared. My job is to be supportive. My job is to make sure that crib is ready when the baby comes home. My job is to make sure that everything that is bringing forth this baby, this Mother Earth, has everything that she needs to bring forth this beautiful active nature that brings forth the divine idea. The divine idea of a child, the divine idea of your prosperity, of your meaning and purpose, of the next phase of being who you are. So what do? Trust the process. However, be prepared to allow its coming. There's a big difference between building your life on divine ideas and building your life on bad ideas. I've spent way too much of my life building my life on bad ideas of low self-image, of a neediness for love, of not being enough, that life isn't fair, and so on. And sometimes relationships and careers and all sorts of things crumble, not because there was anything wrong, but the foundation of the really bad idea they were based on. When we can build our lives based on divine ideas of joy, purpose, of authenticity, whatever it is for you, we build strong structures, even though life has a lot of fluidity and change. I was a part of bringing forth a beautiful daughter named Nancy. But the truth is she's been a part of bringing forth a whole new and better me. I get to raise my child, and my child has raised my spirits in so many different ways. Having a conversation, she pointed out something I was doing as a mistake. I'm sorry, I said, and Nancy replied, why are you always saying sorry? It's okay. Wow. We were at Jamba Juice a couple weeks ago. Nancy, do you have any plans today? Oh, Daddy, only grown-ups have plans. Little Miss Louza. And all the time I'm learning from her. And just as I'm growing and nurturing this divine idea named Nancy, Nancy is the birth of a divine idea that's nurturing it and bringing forth myself. And as we know from Khalil Gibran's The Prophet and all of that, our children aren't really our children. Yes, they freaking are, but we bring them forth. But who they become is up to the purpose of their divine soul. It's the same with your divine idea. Imagine what it can look like. Be open to possibility. Encourage it completely, but let that divine idea do its thing. Realize that it's smarter than you, that it knows more than you, and thank God. So with humility, listen to your divine idea and allow it to grow in a way that could even surpass your imagination. And what you'll find, just perhaps like I have, is that it's the greatest blessing in your life. Karen Jensen alluded to the idea that you can count the seeds in an apple, but you can't count the apples in the seed. May we recognize the divine idea in all of us and do all we can to nurture it and see how all those seeds grow. So becoming conscious of a divine idea in all aspects of our life, that is God's very story in our lives, that's God's very trajectory. Let us be aware intimately of this divine idea coming into fruition right here and right now. We can imagine what it may look like, but ultimately, let us commit with full trust and confidence for it to reveal who we are as a person, who we are as a hero on an adventurer's path, who we are as a humble being who may feel broken at times, but ultimately must remember that he is whole. Let us embrace this truth and allow the divine ideas that exist for our life to come forward on a foundation of preparation, trust, and anticipation. And so it is. Amen.